again with another episode of Roofer Reflection, and I'm really excited to have Alex here today. Your original background, I'm looking at it, it's a Bachelor of Science Emergency Management. Tell me about that.
So I've always kind of been in the first responder realm. I was an EMT 12 years ago for a couple years, so I've always kind of been interested in that, and it does kind of tie into the safety world, but that's how I kind of got. That was my kind of first interest before I moved into safety.
Tell me about working in, corrections. Not everyone's, has had that experience.
I started as an officer, worked my way up. I was a sergeant when I left. I started for the first 3 years in a maximum security facility in Nebraska, and then became a supervisor at a work release center. Kind of blown away. I remember my first night on the yard by myself, and I was by myself with 250 other inmates and wondering if I'm really cut out for this. But you kind of have to play every job as a corrections officer, whether it's a first responder responding to fights or fires or medical emergencies. You have to play counselor. And I really did enjoy the job, but it takes a toll on you from dealing with the administrative side of things to dealing with inmates on a daily basis. So moved away from that so I could just took a job delivering shingles, actually, is how I got into roofing 8 years ago, and just wanted to kind of get out and go back to just being a regular Monday through Friday job.
What are some stories that you commonly tell people that, on the job stories that you commonly tell people in corrections?
When I first started, they had what was called an open yard. So when they'd call for mealtime or yard time, they'd open up 2 housing units and you could have up to 250 so inmates on the yard. I broke my hand once dealing with a suicidal inmate after he was homicidal. He came after us with a improvised weapon and he feigned suicide in an attempt to get us to open his cell door. We opened his door and he came to attack staff and ended up breaking my hand in the process. There's responded to inmates setting their mattress on fire, to sitting in a tower for 8 hours at a time, which is the boring side of it.
You kind of have more of a safety role. Yeah. How did that occur?
After that, I went to work for the City of Lincoln as an equipment operator. A couple years into working at the City of Lincoln, I became the district safety coordinator for there was 3 districts for the streets department, and I did safety for our shop. So I did all of the monthly trainings, PPE disbursement. I kind of took over for somebody who took it just to take it, where when he would do his trainings, he'd just read off a sheet. And I've learned that it's a lot harder to train people. It's better to train people not by just reading off of a worksheet and actually trying to find something that'll interest them. So I switched to safety videos to try and get 35 guys, blue collar guys, to pay attention. And then from there is when the opening at White Castle Roofing came about. I figured safety as a full-time role would be really interesting to me, and I dove headlong into it and fell in love with it as a career path and as just a daily job. In the moment, you don't think about it, you just do what the job takes.
You were in the roofing industry before you've come into the roofing industry. If someone that was considering the roofing industry as a career, what would you tell them?
The roofing is one of those things where even in an economic downturn, roofs still have to be replaced. It's a very stable job in the fact that there's always work to be done. And if you're willing to learn, you can do anything. And so if you're willing to put in the work, there's only room to move up.